You guys ever noticed anybody with white teeth with patches on them that are a different color? That's the fluoride. That's fluoride. That's called fluorosis, dental fluorosis. When you see that, those discolored patches, that's fluoride that's incorporated itself into the calcium crystal of the teeth, the calcium matrix, and hardened that section of the tooth. If you see that in the teeth, it's also in the bones. But check this out. It's also going to be anywhere that nanobacteria is in your body. Because they're laying down calcium phosphate too, which means it's going to bond into there. So those calcifications David's talking about, they might not just be calcium, then it would be fluoride. But there's one other place that all that fluoride wants to go. The number one place, magnetically drawn to your pineal gland. So if you've been around a lot of fluoride or drinking fluoride water, or you went to the like me, I went to the dentist and they take 2 trays of fluoride gel. I threw it on my teeth. And then they put Mr. Thirsty, the vacuum. Watermelon flavored. That's the worst, right? Isn't that the worst experience? Or in some places where they weren't going to fluoridate the water, they would call it, where it wasn't because they weren't going to fluoridate the water. In some places where there's well water. Anybody who in this room ever had a fluoride day at school? You guys see that? Look around, check that out. Fluoride day at school. Those people went in, did you guys get tablets?
Yes.
So they went into school and were giving pharmaceutical doses of a sedative that hardens the pineal gland. Hardens the pineal gland. Your pineal gland is like a master gland. It produces neurotransmitters. Those are the kind of molecules that make you more intelligent. So if you calcify that object, it becomes like a little hard pea. It no longer produces things like what? Serotonin, melatonin, dimethyltryptamine. Look that up. You produce dimethyltryptamine. You kind of want to be producing dimethyltryptamine. And what happens is, if the pineal gland hardens, your pineal gland is also called what? What do they call it in yoga?
Third eye.
The third eye. That's the psychic center. That's where it's all going down, at the third eye. If you drink fluoride water, that thing hardens. Livingstone and I went into Walmart recently to check out the baby water at Walmart. You guys seen that? With fluoride. You know that if you give a fluoride to a baby, you reduce the IQ by 20%? Fluoride water reduces the IQ of your baby. Personally, I like to mix up formulas that are fluoride water with soy. That's my favorite thing to give developing children. I think that's fantastic. Yeah, with a little high fructose corn syrup. This is good. Oh man. Could you even design something worse? So okay, we got chlorine, right? We're all from the chlorine experiment. If you live in a city or a town and the water is chlorinated, I really recommend that you make a very small investment in a chlorine filter that you can put on your shower. Because when you atomize water, in other words, when you break it apart into a mist, coming through the shower, you're absorbing as much as 8 times as much chlorine than if you drank it. Right? So you're actually inhaling chloroform gas into the lungs. It's absorbing through the skin. It's drying out your hair and drying out your skin, and you might not even know it because you just might be so accustomed to it, and it's killing off your what? Bacteria. That we talked about yesterday. It's destroying your immune system. It actually destroys your immune system. Since chlorine is a bleach, and a bleach is an antibiotic, and when you drink chlorinated water, it's probably going to kill off the bacteria in your belly too, right? That's kind of obvious, right? So we're all on like a low, those of us on chlorine, are on a low-level dose of an antibiotic. Added in, so that's an immune system destroyer. Can we all agree on that? If you add in, say, something to an immune system destroyer that's known to lower IQ and create docility in a population, that destroys the pineal gland, therefore destroying imagination and psychic ability, kind of not really part of the superhero package, is it? Kind of not part of that. So what happens is we end up with, I don't know if you guys have seen any docile humans walking around without an immune system. They would call it ball wart. So that's what's going on. Look, that water, I don't care. Brita filter, you guys get it, right? That's like this much of a filter medium. Oh, I poured it through that little thing. Like this big. Right? Like think about the hydrological cycle of like water falls from clouds onto the earth, filters itself down through topsoil, bacteria, roots, bugs, organisms, then down into the sand and silt, then through bedrock, down to the aquifers where it's matured and purified, and brought to the surface of springs over the course of hundreds or thousands of years. That's a little bit more intricate than the Brita filter, the plastic thing. So it's not really going to give you that spring quality water, right? Your other option would be, well, you could distill it. then you end up with poisonous water. Or you could reverse osmosis it, and you're going to feel like, wow, why am I so dehydrated all the time? Because, come on, that water does not hydrate you, does it? You could drink that water all day long. You might not know what hydration is. You might have never had the water. Hey, is organic food better than commercial food? And is wild food better than organic food?
Yeah.
And is it possible that wild water might be the place to look? I want to look at wild water. Okay, so wild water comes up to the surface of the earth as springs. That's part of the hydrological cycle that we should know about, because a lot of people aren't thinking about the hydrological cycle like that. I wasn't, because when I went to school, what I saw was clouds. That's a little diagram. I know you guys all got some version of the diagram. The clouds rain down, water goes into the oceans and lakes, gets evaporated back up, rains down, goes down, and that's the hydrological cycle. That's half the hydrological cycle. So up here, right, we've got fire, the fire element, all this white stuff up here. That'd be like the atmosphere, top of the planet. So, you know, the water rains down, and then gets evaporated back up, and it rains down, and get that little fire. People love to tell us about that. What about this part down here, where it goes deep down into the earth, and it incubates, and then it's brought back up? That's the kind of water we want to get. Because when water goes deep into the earth, it matures itself. See, if you think water's just H2O, then that doesn't make sense, and you don't care. But if you know that water's a liquid crystal, who knows what a crystal is? Who actually knows what a crystal is? Crystal is a very organized series of atoms aligned geometrically in a formation. So kind of like if we took a bunch of marbles and scattered them on the floor, there's no organization. But if we took those same marbles and we arranged a lattice where they were perfectly organized in a formation, they would be a crystal, and they would be in formation, right? So when we put things in a formation, they're information. So when we talk about information, we're talking about things that are in a formation, like silicon chips that we use in computers. Those are crystals, right? You need very, very good silica to make a computer chip because it has to be a perfectly aligned crystal if it's going to transmit information. Does that make sense? Water is a liquid crystal. This is cool. You guys have all seen quartz crystal, right? Quartz crystal is silicon and oxygen. It's made out of the same stuff that glass is made of. But glass is the same ingredients disorganized. Quartz crystal is the same ingredients as glass organized. Similarly, the lead in a pencil, that graphite, that's the same exact ingredients as a diamond. It's all about how you arrange it. With me? This is really fascinating. The left brain doesn't like that. The left brain likes to know what the ingredients are, and if it's got the same ingredients, it's all the same. It doesn't matter. Well, it does matter because the structure determines. Water can be organized or disorganized. Imagine that water, see, you guys all seen snow crystals? That's pretty organized, right? You know, look at that. That's like organized water, hexagonal structures, right? Six-sided, beautiful, never to repeat themselves again crystals, right? Those structures are hyper-organized. Everyone with me on that? And then they're six-sided, aren't they? Water's a crystal that's six-sided, and it arranges itself in a crystal lattice. That's very much, I like to use the analogy of a honeycomb, because that's another six-sided shape that's very organized, right? So if you picture a honeycomb, you've got, this is a loose metaphor, but stay with me. We've got a honeycomb that's six-sided shapes in a very organized pattern. These are pretty organized. Now imagine that we could heat that wax up and get it to start moving and flowing, but it could hold on to the six-sided shapes and it didn't disorganize itself. It was flowing, it was a liquid, but it held that structure. That's what good water is. It's a crystal that's a liquid.